On va pouvoir commencer dans 1 minute et laisser rentrer du coup les personnes dans la salle d'attente. Bah, écoute Yasmine, tu peux laisser rentrer dans la salle d'attente et puis on va laisser quelques petites secondes et on va démarrer. So good morning or good afternoon, everyone. It's 11 a.m. In Paris. So my name is Marie Dolé. I'm from BPI France, and I'm delighted to welcome all of you today to this EEN Tonic e-pitch session on GreenTech solutions that is powered by EuroQuity, the online matchmaking platform of BPI France. So for this edition, we're happy to showcase 7 French solutions. Before presenting each one of them, just a quick reminder on how this session will go on forward. So each entrepreneur will have between 5 to 6 minutes to showcase their business and 3 to 4 minutes for Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can either raise your hand or put a message directly in the chat box. And if you have any needs, if you want us to put you in contact with these companies, you will receive, as usual, follow-up email with their contact information and also the replay of this session. Without any further ado, I am pleased to welcome today's lineup. So we're going to kick off the session with Joanne Lautier, representing Liffey Air, positively impacting life of pollen allergy sufferers from all around the world. We will then introduce Anthony Van Exem, representing Telux, accelerating the analysis of polluted soils using artificial intelligence and hyperspectral imaging with their solution, the HyperLab. Next, we will have Dorian Joulier, representing Carboneo, recycling industrial CO2 using electrolysis. Then we will have Amira Chenur, representing CBEX, making it possible for farmers to increase yield, protect the soil, and use less water without the need of expensive hardware through an AE-based solution. Next, we will have Habib Al-Khatib and Elodie Morgan, representing Spotlight, working on a surveillance of CO2 geological storage solution. Company number 6 will then be Sinovance, represented by Brian Jester, selling eco-friendly, sustainable bioproduced dyes. And last but not least, we will have Bertrand Duval, representing BioStart, reducing the environmental impact of emerging pollutants in European waters by offering high-quality, environmental-friendly services. So without any further ado, Joanne, the floor is yours. You have 6 minutes to pitch.
Thank you, Mary. Can you confirm that you hear me and you see my screen?
Loud and clear.
Okay. So Life Here was founded in 2018, and I want to tell you a little story. Okay. Once upon a time, during a garden party, a lot of people started sneezing and coughing, and it wasn't because of the BBQ smoke, but because of pollens. So with Jerome, my associate, we wondered, are we the only ones to suffer from allergies? Of course, the answer is obviously not. Half of the population will be allergic in 2050. We are already 30% now, and the current health costs are over 200 billion euro per year only for the US and the European Union. So what can we do? Either we cut all the plants, and obviously it's not exactly the trend now, or we find a way to deliver an accurate information in order to set up prevention strategies. What is an accurate information for an allergy sufferer? This is an automated, real-time, and ultra-local information, delivering information about the concentrations of pollens in the air. When we look at the competitors, at the current monitoring systems, no answer to all these requirements can be found. That's why we decided to create Life Here in order to positively impact the lives of pollen allergy sufferers around the world. For that, we gathered a team, the two founders with very complementary skills. Jérôme is an entrepreneur for always approximately, and I managed a lot of scientific projects. And we also set up an advisory board with an allergist and with a research director at the CNRS, the French public body for research, who is working on the monitoring of airborne particles in the air. During the development of the project, we set up a team of 12 persons with very various profiles, from electronic to more marketing and biz dev skills. We have developed two things. The first one is BINOS, the first automated pollen sensor based on a disruptive patented tech developed with the CNRS. The sensor is now industrialized and ready to use, but we also set up a toolbox with mainly an app in order to be able to deliver the real-time and actionable information. What is our business model? First, we focus on a B2G model with local authorities, and we propose them an inexpensive use case for the smart city. This is for us the way to deploy the sensors networks and to create a freemium users community based on the communication tools of the cities. This market has a size of approximately 200 million euros for US and France, of course, much more if you consider the whole world. And then we want to convert the freemium users community to premium users community and switch to a B2C model with a personalized premium service, mainly for asthma sufferers. And the size of that market is huge, with 1.8 billion euros per year, because this is a recurring revenue. What is our current status? We have already developed our networks in 30 territories with approximately 130 sensors deployed in France and Belgium. We launched the app in April, and we already have more than 11,000 downloads. And we have also led a panel qualitative study from which result that 25% of the users have already noticed with six weeks use of the app decrease in their allergy attacks. Our challenges for the next 3 years are, of course, to accelerate our B2G model thanks to partnerships. We are currently working with Veolia. We also want to the premium features for the B2C, develop a PM sensor in order to monitor pollution. We have already the prototypes. To sum up the financial questions, we already have generated 400 kilo euros of revenues. Our aim is to generate 7.5 million euros in 2025 with an EBIT rate of 35%, always increasing as subscriptions will take more and more place in that turnover. We are seeking 1 million euro in order to develop mainly the marketing and commercialization team in France and abroad. And the goal is clearly to accelerate and take and lock the market before the emergence of future competitors. Thanks for your attention, and I'm ready to answer your question.
Thank you very much, Joanne. Do we have any questions? Let's see. You can use either the chat or raise your hand. Otherwise, you can also use the form in the chat box to book a meeting with Joanne. So maybe I'll start. Maybe I have one question for you. What are the lessons learned from the qualitative study on the users? I don't know if you can hear us, Joanne. So maybe Joanne just had
I
a...
can't hear you anymore.
Oh, can you hear us now? So I was asking you, what are the lessons learned from the qualitative study on users? So unfortunately, Joanne, I think you have maybe some connection issues. So maybe we can move on to the next question, to the next company. And if anyone has any questions, just type it in the chat box and Joanne will answer them afterwards. Sorry for the inconvenience. So we're going to now move on to the second company. So it's Telux. Antonin, the floor is yours.
Okay, so hi everyone. So I will introduce you. Oops, you see my screen?
Perfect.
Okay. Oops, I got an issue. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you Telux, which unearths the pollution of soil. So first, some needs. We will half of the population will live in cities by the next decades, and we would need space for building houses, warehouse, some industries, and we will also need some material construction for this. For instance, aggregates is the most consumed product after water, and there is also non-renewable resources incentive to protect these resources. So we plan to remediate the brownfield sites to tackle these issues. Nonetheless, the brownfields are really polluted, and we have problem for the delays of the project and for the assessment of the cost of the remediation. The value proposition of Telux is to reduce these delays to zero and to decrease the price of the pollution by the remediation by 2. So there is two markets, the remediation and the earthworks by itself, which is 80% of this market, and the studies that represent 10%. On the world, it's a 100 billion markets and it's growing by 8% per year. It's mainly due to the oil and gas sector, and it's concerned by pollution of soil by simple hydrocarbons. We got an issue with my presentation. So here is the now the solution that are used nowadays. So it's an auger drilling system which is not very accurate. The precision is only 1 meter in the ground, and then you pick up 1 gram of the soil, and it's representative for it's analyzed and representative for 100 tons. So it's and then we have a delays of 2 weeks to get the results. With our solution, we are using soil samples, coring samples, which is the precision is approximately 10 centimeters. We use an hyperspectral scanner to analyze 100% of the cores, and we have an IA database and algorithm that we develop by ourselves and that provide on-site analysis in less than a minute. For a second offer, it's directly for the remediation, the earthworks that we are developing now, is that because soil are composed of layers like lasagna, and you have pollution on some parts, and above and on top of it you have clean soil. But when you are doing the excavation, you are mixing inert soil as contaminated soil, so the price of the remediation increase. That's why we're developing a sorting machine with our technology. We want to sort the clean soil and the contaminated soil in two separate ways. And like this, we want to reduce the quantity of polluted materials, control the absence of pollution, or analyze the aggregates and identify if there is sand in the excavated materials. We can sell it on a circular economy system instead of paying for the pollution. If we take a little example of what it can do for the got very weird issue with my laptop. Okay, here we go. I will renew something. Do you see the screen now? It's good for you.
Yes, maybe leave it like that, Antonin, because that way there are no problems.
Okay, so let's take an example for an average remediation project. 5,000 tons of excavated materials, and with our sorting system, we want to reduce by 50% the amount of excavated materials. So it means that we can save 100,000 euros on an average project and have 0 delays. For instance, in France, there is 5,000 projects every year, so the added value will be of $500 million for this market. So far, the market is mostly dominated by laboratories. So they can analyze every pollutant for every segment of the market, but the analysis is delayed by several days. So it do not answer the needs of the customers that want instantaneous analysis in the field. That's why we want to keep on speed up our analytical process by the industrialization of the sorting machine, and then develop the other pollutants with our technology on a second phase. The team, so I've been working for climate scientists in the last years, and I've been developing the skills and tools to analyze very carefully the soil and the sediment, and I understood that there was some lakes in the remediation sector for characterizing the soil. Then I've been joined by Maxime, that's starting business from scratch in the last years. Christophe, who is a machine vision expert, he's working in the industry for 20 years. And Jean-Philippe, which is Business Intelligence Project Director at the Groupe L'Hôtelier, which is our first pre-seed investor and partner. So for the business projections, we are already developing the business for one, and we plan to sell up to 3 analyses per month, and to then focus on the offer 2. The offer 1 is a pre-sale for the offer 2, and we can get information on the projects, on the soil, on the data, and then we can adapt the offer 2 and select some very relevant project for the sorting machine. Our first customers are mainly oil and gas industry sector, energy, and also local authorities. So to conclude with the roadmap for synthesis, so far we are working on simple hydrocarbons, which represent 50% of the market, with our first offer, the Hyperlab. And we are working for oil and gas industry and local authorities. So we are starting a fundraising campaign in order to industrialize the technology with the sorting machine, and we aim with this to work for the remediation sector and to work with contractors. And then we plan a second fundraising campaign to develop our ability on the other pollutants, and finally work for real estate developer and consultancy firms. So concerning the fund allocation for this campaign, it's mainly research and development and sales. So for the commercialization of the offer 1, go from 50% of pollutant detected today up to 60% to address to enlarge the segment markets we can address today, and also the industrialization of technology by developing the sorting machine. Okay, so thank you for attention, and sorry for the issue with the presentation.
Thank you very much, Antonin. So we have already one question in the chat box. How did you validate your solution? And second one, is there any regulatory policy to follow?
Yes, of course. So because the system is artificial intelligence, we reproduce the same analysis as the laboratory is doing. So the model converts the signal from the post-roll camera to the same concentration and same variables that the users are used to. And so we always show the correlation between our results and the results from the lab and the official labs to see that it's always coherent, and we have a few points of correlation on every project. And sorry, the second part of the question was?
Is there any regulatory policy to follow?
Yes, of course. You have regulations on the analysis themselves, so we made these comparisons, and then you have regulations also on the field works. And for this, we work for the actual like consulting firms, and well, we are an added solution, and we don't replace the solution because we address some needs that are not fulfilled with the actual solutions.
Thank you very much, Antonin. I have one question for you. It's regarding your competition. So you mentioned the fact that you had like instantaneous analysis. How do you like? Doesn't RemScan also do that? So what is like your USP?
Okay, so yes, indeed, we have two competitors, but they are using other technologies, and so we say that we have norm and regulation, which is a COFRAC certification for the French regulation. And the difference between our solution and our competitors is that we already shows that we are able to detect not only one pollutant, not hydrocarbons, but all the pollutants we can detect with our technology. And so far, we also show that we can have a quantification of the pollutants. We can detect the threshold of the pollution, and Dakota Technologies and RemScan are not that accurate as we do, because hypervisual imaging is generating so much data compared to our competitors that we can have much more information, much more precision, and detect much more pollutants.
Thank you very much, Antonin. We'll take one last question. So it's an investor asking to repeat how much you're raising.
Oh, it's 1.5 million for equity, but the total is 4.5.
Okay, thank you very much, Antonin. If we don't have any more questions, we're going to move on to the next company. So it's Carboneo, and it's Dorian who will be doing the pitch. So Dorian, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you. So sorry in advance if I have some working issues, because there's some work in my building, but that's fine. So I will present you Carboneo today. So we are decarbonizing the industry. The simple idea is that we have to work on the carbon cycle that we are developing today. Actually, we are emitting too much carbon dioxide, so we have to find a value in it. So the idea behind Carboneo is to transform carbon dioxide into useful chemicals such as carbon monoxide and dioxygen. So these chemicals can be used in pharmaceuticals, chemistry, or any other industry. So that way we can create a carbon loop within the factories. So that way there's no more carbon dioxide emission outside of the factory, and also there's an auto consumption of the CO and the dioxygen that are produced from the electrolyzer. So as I mentioned, we can work with electronics, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and metallurgy, but there's also a lot of other industries that are emitting CO2 and also consuming carbon monoxide and dioxygen. This is only the French panels, but you can see that if we work in the whole Europe or even in the US or in Canada, we can find a lot of other companies that are working with carbon monoxide. The following project from Carboneo is to find the value also in carbon dioxide by transforming the carbon monoxide into fuels. So that way we can just partner up with a water electrolysis company and a Fischer-Tropsch company. So that way we can transform carbon dioxide directly into fuels, especially into jet fuels. So that way we can find an atmospheric way to work with carbon dioxide, and that way we can find low carbon fuels. So the technology is based on 20 years of research, first from the Professor Marc Robert at Paris University, but it's also based on my PhD thesis. And we have now a CEO, which is Raoul Malard, which will be joining the team after the fundraising. Also, our team will grow a lot. Actually, to build up this technology and to go from the lab to the industry, we need up to roughly 8 R&D recruitments per year, and we are raising 1.5 million euros to get to the first demonstrator. So this demonstrator will be able to transform up to 60 tons of CO2 per year. But we are aiming to have a simple electrolyzer that can transform 300 tons of CO2 per year. Finally, we have few competitors such as Dioxycle 12 or Prometheus fuels, but they are using different catalysts, so they are producing other chemicals, mostly fuels. So that way we are just we are actually not very competitors, but we are partners. We are also working with a different catalyst that enable us to produce pure CO, so we can aim for pharmaceuticals or microelectronics. Finally, we have 5 patents, but 7 that are ready to be patented. So 4 of them are based on the catalyst, the molecular catalyst we are using. 1 of them is on the electrolyzer itself. We have now a lab. Our lab are at Acceler, which is an incubator from Air Liquide. We are of course Laureate's A lab, and we have been at in Wilco. And there we go. Thank you for your attention. If you have any question, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you very much. So we have one question on what is based your technology, electrolysis, plasma catalyst?
It's the electrolysis. It's actually we are performing CO2 electroreduction at ambient temperature and atmospheric pressure.
So we have another question in the chat. How much are you raising and how far will that money take you?
We are raising 1.5 million euros. So actually the technology today is at TRL 3. So we have lab scale experiments that are still we are still upscaling. And this 1.5 million euros will get up to the demonstrator, which is an electrolyzer that will be able to transform 30 to 60 tons of CO2 per year in real conditions. So with CO2 from the industry and by performing the full cycle.
Thank you very much, Dorian. So if we don't have any more questions, we're going to move on now to the next company. So it's CBEX, and it's Amira that will be delivering the pitch. So Amira, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you are seeing my
perfect
screen. So, hi everyone, my name is Amira Chanyour. I'm co-founder and CEO of CBEX, and we are saving water and increasing yield with our sensorless precision irrigation solution. Our mission is to make agronomic expertise universally accessible to any farmer around the globe and empower them with valuable irrigation recommendations. We think that there is no need to argue. We can't be more expressive than those photos. You can see that unprecedented drought in France this year, unprecedented flood in Pakistan. And this is climate change version 2022, totally unexpected, unpredictable. Irrigation is about precision. Over and under irrigation both impact negatively yields and quality. How we can expect that farmers will take the right decisions in such ever-changing weather conditions. Statistics proves that irrigation inefficiency costs up to 50% of the farmer's profits. So let's think how much it will be fantastic if they can have some way of being able to know in a given day if they should be irrigating or not in a very simple and affordable way. So this when our teams come in. So we operate in 2 countries, in France and Tunisia. We are 3 co-founders with 40 years of experience all combined. Me, Amira Chanyour, I'm CEO with over 10 years of experience in entrepreneurship, project management, and business development. I hold an engineering degree and I ended up my studies for an EMBA degree. I'm advising also the Tunisian government in the agri-value chain digitization. Tahir Mistiri is chairman and CDO with he's a digital transformer with secure hands-on technical experience in building building complex information systems with over 25 years in this field. And he's also a consultant for the World Bank and AFC on projects of digitization of the agri-value chain in Africa. Ines Abida holds a taxation degree, and she is in charge of all operation activities with over 10 years of experience in this field. We also have a team of developers, sales, operations, and advisors of agronomists and business development experts. So to face the problem we've mentioned, we built an AI-based solution that makes it possible for farmers to increase yield, protect the soil, and use less water without the need of expensive hardware. Our platform is able to simulate and predict the evolution of the available water in the soil globally using multiple weather and soil data sources and one of the biggest crop databases. Then it gives farmers what they exactly need, clear, specific irrigation recommendations. We enable it also the low tech to have a better market reach and include for African farmers with low and no connectivity. And we will be including integrations of push to voice notification in the local dialect. We also offer access to satellite images, so of up to 8 high-resolution vegetation indices for better decision making. Our business model is based on annual subscription to get access to the platform and the satellite images. We got two cases, among others, to show the impact of using the sensorless platform plus the satellite images. So in France, we have a pet farmer with 50 hectares of corn and using only the SaaS platform plus satellite images. He said, like, I do regret to not using CBEX before. If I activated my subscription before May 2022, I could gain 35% more yield. Another one in Tunisia, holding 7 hectares, made 25% of resource saving, and he had a better quality of citrus. So talking about competition, almost all competitors are hardware-based solutions. So we are hardware agnostic. Some of them are not in our Africa focus, like GreenTech and Syncrop, and they are also our partners in France. Some of them are more for big farmers and not smallholder farmers like Netafim. And we are actually the only modular and interoperable platform that make it possible to generate irrigation recommendation for farmers with or without hardware, at least on the market that we are looking for. So talking about the market, it's big, according to the Goldman Sachs Group. So precision farming could potentially increase yields by 70% and create a market of $240 billion. Precision irrigation represents a market of $35 billion. And we focus on Middle East, Africa, and Europe, markets that represents $10 billion. We started to sell through massive distribution channels like the Chamber of Agriculture in France, the Technical Center of Agrooms in Tunisia, and other technical centers. And as a value-added services through telcos like what we are doing with Orange Middle East and Africa. And we have ongoing discussion for partnerships with banks like Crédit Agricole, the National Bank for Agriculture in Tunisia, and others. We have been successful in building a strategic partnership for 5 years with the Chamber of Agriculture in France. We replaced their irrigation decision support tool by our platform under the new branding we call Netirig by CBEX. It combines the power of CBEX platform with the most complete agronomic knowledge database in France. With this partnership, we proved that CBEX is a very reliable platform with the potential to reach 60% of the French market share. This experience is applicable with many other partners in many other countries. So we've generated since incorporation in 2020, 114,000 euro of business volume, and we are onboarding starting from this month our first 150 farmers on Netirig by CBEX. We already converted our beta testers to paid users, and we have an ongoing project in partnership with local partners in Benin to equip 1,000 farmers with the SaaS platform CBEX for March 2023. We are launching for our 10 line. We are launching massive sales this month in France and Tunisia. We'll scale up the next gen data harvesters deployment starting from February 2023. We will be expand to Benin in April 2023 and then Spain, Ivory Coast, and Italy starting from January 2024. We'll be getting country by country, so we have a timeline for that. And we will launch CBEX for B2C in May 2024. We aim to reach 15 million euro by the end of 2026 with more than 60,000 subscriptions on the platform and covering more than 60,000 hectares with satellite images with a break even in February 2024. We believe that we are a startup that tick all the boxes for a seed round. So it's our actually a second round of fundraising. So we have a skilled and passionate team. We converted beta testers to paid users. We built solid partnership with barriers to entry, and we have a repeatable, sustainable business model with a clear vision. We are an excellent momentum. It's about water, climate change, and food, and we think it's a momentum also for investors to invest. We are looking to raise 600k euro in the seed round, the second round, as I mentioned, to scale up sales and build stronger AI data sets for an improved accuracy. So if you believe that we are making precision irrigation simple, just join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Amira. So we have one question already in the chat. So isn't your price for users low considering the benefit?
Excuse me, it was like not clear. Yeah.
Isn't your price for users low considering the benefit?
They are considering actually the benefits. It depends actually from the market. So if we talk about France, I mean, the consciousness of farmers, it's and the level of consciousness is higher. So farmers, I mean, when we are selling, doing the demo to sell the product, take us like 15 minutes to 30 minutes to convince farmers about the impact. For Tunisia, we work a lot about awareness and work with local, I mean, institutions in order to help farmers to consider the impact. So we already made some like sales for this year, and we already saw that there is a difference between the last year and this year. So farmers are looking more to use this kind of solutions in order to have a better impact on their crop production, especially in drought climates like Tunisia and others.
Thank you, Amira. So we have another question. What data trained your AI?
So we are training our AI actually by collecting 3 types of data. So from multiple sources. So we have not only sources of data, so we have multiple. We use weather data, we use soil data, and we use actually climate prediction and current data. So we use also satellite images for that. We already integrated, thanks to the partnership with the Chamber of Agriculture in France, the most complete database, agronomic database in France. We are mastering actually the water need calculation for more than 140 variety in France. So this is the data set. We continue to collect data in order to enhance more our AI. What I have mentioned in the, get back to my slide. So CBEX have designed also IoT stations. So we don't sell it to farmers, but in the for the fundraising that we are making now, we'll be deploying sensors, soil sensors in some strategic points on some strategic crops in order to correct more the estimation and to get more precision. So this data will be used as a data set in order to train more our AI and make our SaaS platform at 99% as accurate as using data from sensors.
Thank you very much, Amira. So we're now going to move on to our next company. So it's Spotlight, and we have Habib and Elodie that will be doing the presentation. So the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. So the goal of Spotlight is to bring predictive maintenance in seismic monitoring business. So it starts with a need, especially when talking about carbon capture sequestration in the geological formation. Our clients want a more safer solution that provide a more frequent detection, and all that with the least possible environmental footprint. And they want that with a cost divided by a factor of 10 comparing to the conventional solution. It seems an impossible dilemma to solve, but in fact, looking to other Industry 4.0 did solve this dilemma. How? With predictive maintenance. They use and design digital twins in order to know where and when to locate sensors to record the behavior of their tools and detect when they need to launch preventive maintenance. If we look to the subsurface industry, we do have digital twins, which are flow simulation of the CO2 within the subsurface. But we also have full field monitoring technologies. The thing is, those two are not linked, and the simulation are not driving the design of this monitoring solution. And we, in Spotlight, are intending to bridge this gap by providing the first and only simulation-driven monitoring technology that focuses the measurement on critical area of the subsurface in order to enable predictive maintenance for subsurface.
So now let's take a look at the solution from a client perspective. Well, in fact, the subsurface have a tremendous amount of data that is owned by the client. Thanks to this data, we can perform the first phase of Spotlight, which is a big data phase, which is building the database. Thanks to this database, we are able to provide the client with the exact position of the lightest seismic acquisition system you could think of, which is one source location and one receiver location per spot to monitor in the subsurface. This seismic acquisition system is installed by local partners that will send the data back to us, and we will be able to process and detect what's happening in the subsurface so that we can trigger predictive maintenance for clients.
As described by Elodie, the business model is following the two critical steps of Spotlight, which has been patented and granted in the US and many other countries. The first one is a one-only setup fee that we charge in a service mode where we take and integrate the data from our client. And the second one is recurrent revenue as monitoring as a service, where we want to push clients for subscriptions in order to get the most of the agility and frugality of our monitoring system compared to the existing system.
Spotlight was created 5 years ago by Habib and myself, and with both of us, we have 20 years in the geophysical domain. We've built a team composed of 12 Spotlighters, backed by a scientific and strategic committee. We've acquired a tremendous amount of data in these 5 years. Thanks to this data, we were able to build our in-house software and algorithm so that we gain revenue from year 1 on oil and gas project and CCS domain.
The solution is today proven on both of these domains, and we also are active in construction work and nuclear storage as well. But today revenue, which is about $500,000, are mainly driven by carbon capture storage. And the reason is we just won with our solution the biggest EU monitoring project, which is a project GreenTech offshore Denmark, led by INEOS and Wintershall. We also signed recently, and it has been announced in the press, a MOU to be the monitoring technology of the Technip Energies CCS solution for this market. Why CCS is so important and timing is key? It's because this is going to be one of the biggest markets in the energy transition, assumed by Wood Mackenzie as big as oil and gas. The client, we know them, they're from the oil and gas industry. And there is a strong push, especially from the Biden industry, to make this happening because we need to tackle the energy challenge. Why simulation-driven is so important? Because CO2 is waste management, and clients don't want to pay that. They want frugal solution, and the regulator is imposing a 30 to 60-year continuous monitoring, which is the guarantee for us of recurrent revenue. This is why.
Habib, Elodie, you have 1 minute to wrap up.
This is why we want to have, we want to reach 4.5 million revenue capital with 3 million equity and 1.5 million from debt and subsidies.
The first major phase will be this industrialization phase in 2 years, so that we can complete the team with more experienced staff members. Then we will increase the sales and marketing part and partnerships, so that we can expand worldwide toward our main sectors, which will be in North America and Europe.
To finish with, revenue growth are estimated at 17 million in 3 years, with a break-even by then, with a growing recurrent revenue. The goal of Spotlight is to be in 3 years the reference in MMV and to build the work package in other verticals to position Spotlight as the leader of seismic predictive maintenance. Thank you very much for your attention, and we are open for questions.
Thank you very much, both of you. So we can take some questions now, if there are any questions. So raising your hand or directly in the chat box. Maybe I have one question for you. So the position of like regulators seem essential in the development of Spotlight. So how do you intend to convince them?
Yes, this is part of the reason why we are also raising funds. In fact, today we have a client push, which is our client bring us towards the regulator to show us and demonstrate to the regulator that we could have a cost-effective solution. So that regulator will not impose them to have more cost-effective solution. But in fact, the goal of Spotlight is to position ourselves as a third-party trusted partner, which will be the in-between the regulator and the operator to know and demonstrate. You don't hear us? Marie? We don't hear you.
Sorry, no, go ahead, excuse me.
Okay, to demonstrate, in fact, to the regulator that the model predicted by the operator when they ask the permission to store CO2 is accurate or not. So in fact, we have a both part of the game from the operator and from the regulator.
Okay, thank you very much, both. So if we don't have any more questions, we're going to move on to our next companies. So it's company Sinovance, and it's Brian. So Brian, you can go ahead.
Hello. I'm Brian, the CEO of Sinovance, and today I'm going to tell you about how we're leveraging the power of biotechnology to address some of the world's most pressing problems. The problem that we chose to address initially is the textile industry's pollution problem. The problems here in this industry are old and well known. It's chemically intensive, it pollutes fresh water, and it emits a lot of greenhouse gases. What's new is customers are demanding a change from their manufacturers. Our solution is eco-friendly bioproduced textile dyes. We've invented new methods to extract sugars from biomass waste that typically goes to a landfill and generates methane as it degrades. These sugars can be used as feedstock in our fermentations. We've developed a disruptive strain development platform based on synthetic genomics. We can now reliably generate and strains faster, cheaper, and more robust than ever before. Our processes don't use toxic chemicals. We're aligned with the circular economy. After we do our precision fermentation with the sugars we recycle and our engineered strains, we separate the bacteria from the chemical and have a pure chemical that's the same as a synthetic dye. Our performance is the same because it's the exact same molecule, and it's a plug and play process. It doesn't require customers to make any changes in what they're doing now. Just purchase and use our dye instead of the synthetic dye. We have validation of our product from a partner in Italy, Pure Denim. He's tested our dye and validated the use in his factory. We're currently working on a POC with the largest jean manufacturer in the world that's scheduled for the end of this year. We've also in discussion with 4 different cosmetic companies, and they are doing tests and evaluation of our dye, both the blue, indigo, and a red color that we have developed. The market size for textile dyes is 11 billion. We're targeting the indigo dye market, which is 1 billion. We're using a push-pull strategy where we're going both towards the brands and we're going towards the manufacturers and dye houses. Hopefully they'll suggest the use of our product to their partner. Now, to reiterate, our disruptive strain development platform is generic. We can use this to produce strains for many different markets and many different market opportunities. We already have strains for 4 different colors in the freezer ready to be developed. We are currently developing a nutraceutical with a collaborating company from Germany. We have intentions on going towards food also. We are the only competitor of our competitors. We're the only one that has developed a disruptive strain development platform, and we are the only company out of our competitors that uses sustainable biomass as feedstock for our fermentation. Our product is plug and play, unlike some of the competitors. The natural dyes are not a real alternative because they use a lot of land and water resources. So the financial projections that we have made go based on the cost of our use of our product. At launch, it'll cost €1 per pair of jeans to launch our product, which immediately means we're at competitive range with the natural dyes. But within a few years, the economy scales, we'll be able to drive this down to 25 cents per pair of jeans. And then at this scale, we will be competitive with the synthetic dye manufacturers, which
innovant sur la GreenTech.
We have built this highly experienced international team. 60% of the team have PhDs. I have 25 years experience in industry and academia. Effie, she's got a PhD in biochemistry, but also a master's from HEC Business School. And we've built a R&D team for strain development, and we're building out our bioproduction and fermentation team. This is a timeline of what we've done. We were incorporated in 2017. We bootstrapped the company all the way through with the purchasing of our first 100-liter fermenter. This allowed us to get the hundreds of grams that was needed to go to our partner in Pure Denim and validate the use of our dye in his work. We completed a successful crowdfunding in 2021, and then soon thereafter, we were awarded the prestigious EU EIC Accelerator Blended Financing. We obtained the first tranche of financing from the grant, and we've now building out a 500-meter squared pilot facility. We've ordered our first 1,000-liter fermenter to be put in. We're in a funding round right now, and that we are seeking $3 million to match the EU $3 million from the accelerator grant. With this €6 million, we were going to install a suite of 10,000-liter fermenters, and this will give us access to tons of dye annually, and then will lead to full industrial production and commercialization. We would be nowhere if it wasn't for our supporters and those who have believed us along the way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brian. So we have already one question in the chat. So do you have any patent?
We filed one patent. We have a mountain of trade secrets that we are not going to disclose, but we're looking towards a couple other patent opportunities. Yes.
Thank you, Brian. I have one question for you. You mentioned there were many market opportunities. What would be your priority markets next?
Well, we have this project with nutraceuticals. We're going to work through a licensing deal with this German company and let them take over the production of it. But we are very interested in addressing the global food shortage and protein shortage. And we believe that our technology can really leverage something to alleviate some of these problems.
And maybe I have another question, is that often the main challenge for these new technologies is scaling. So what's the biggest challenge for you, and do you think you can overcome that scaling issue?
We're finding challenges everywhere as we scale, but right now, short term, we're getting through the regulation and the water regulation because we're precision fermentation and a contained production facility. All our effluent is controlled, and so we're working on developing systems to clarify our water treatment. As we scale, we will need a lot of capex, a lot of to set our things up. We need a lot of capital to get by the fermenters, to set up the stainless steel in place. But once that's in place, it lasts 20, 30 years. So it's a one-off investment upfront, which is a huge challenge.
Thank you very much, Brand. So we're going to move on now to our last company today. So it's a company BioStart, and Bertrand, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jasmine. So, tell me if you can see my screen.
Not yet.
Not yet. This is because I'm not so faster. Here it is. So we are happy to present you BioStart, our young startup. I'm with Fabrice. Fabrice is on the call, and we are together to speak about this company who is dedicated to water treatment. And the aim we have is to reduce micropollutant contained in the water, so drinking water or wastewater. And when we know that 38% of the European water are in a good quality status, we can see that we have a lot of things to do. During the presentation, I could hear a young baby crying, so saying that probably we can interpret what he said. Please leave a better earth for us later. So this is a part of our mission, and this is what we want to do. We want to bring something much better for our children. So our products are based on a cyclodextrin, which is a PI of the molecule we have, a polymer we have. We have, as of today, we have 3 polymers already developed, and we have a patent in more than 52 countries. So this is a product which is already registered for several countries and let's say continents. So we developed this product, and today we are already treating this product as a solution for water in a river, so wastewater. And the aim is to produce something which is fully compliant with natural ingredients. So as a caricature, we can say sugar, lemon, and amidon to produce this product. So we contain this polymer is contained in a column, and we just have to plug the column to the system of water treatment, and then we have some filtration for the water. So the aim of the product is to treat and to catch 85% of micropollutants contained in the water, so we can drop the concentration by 85% for some pollutant. And today we don't need any capex to plug this product, and only 30–40% per year are cost saving with this solution. And this ingredient, this polymer, it can be reused and recycled for until at least 5 times. So today we know that we are in a market which is around 72 billion per year. This is for European water and wastewater system. And for European water and wastewater equipment, the market generates a revenue of 5 billion per year. So this is where we want to play. So I won't bore too much with a number. You can see, and we can share this presentation whenever you want. But what we want to say here is that we target to penetrate the public sector by 14%, so 0.14%, and less than 0.01% of industrial water treatment. So we aim with this penetration. We think we can get 11 million per year as a total. So let's say pretty 10 million per year for drinking water and 1.5 million for industrial wastewater. So today we can say competitor. We call this slide competitor, but you have to, when we say competitor, we just want to say people who already treat water. For us, they are not competitor, but they are a partner, because we need people to develop the installation and the sales of this product. So we are ready to license the solution to people. And you can see that many people are already present in the water treatment, like Veolia for activated carbon, nanofiltration, reverse osmosis. All these solutions are very good. But the matter is that the cost of treatment is very high. and our solution is lowest. And also, we don't need CapEx. So for all these solutions already used by these companies, they need CapEx. And we come with our solution and we just have to plug and play. And this is what we think which is better for this company. And this is why we speak about partner instead of competitors. So the business model is to produce, of course, the polymer. And then we have to set an audit in a place where we want to use the polymer. We have to install the solution after audit. Then we take the product, we recycle it, and we can also catch the pollutant, and sometimes we can reuse. So if the pollutant are, for example, aluminium, we can catch aluminium and reuse it. So this is interesting for other missile. So this is what we target. And today we are already in touch with many commercial companies. What is interesting to share with you is also that we already have some pilot in a pipeline. So, for example, we start with Martinique and Guyane and also Guadeloupe for the treatment of the water. And you know that it's a health priority now. And we speak about chlordecone, and we think our polymer can catch chlordecone in water. And this is what we are doing now. We have a pilot and we test the solution with a BRGM in Orléans. And BRGM, for those who don't know what is a BRGM, BRGM is a place where, which is authority, let's say, and they work for the new standard of treatment and they can test the solution. And if the solution is good and they say it's a good solution, they can recommend the solution to the people to the company or system who want to depollute their floor or the water. So this is what we do. And to do this, the team today is a team of senior people, sorry for that. And we have a strong experience in pharmaceutical company as a general manager or pharmaceutical affair manager, and also on the environmental. We have also people who are the CFO is already well known in a financial company like I won't say the name, I forgot it. But also Olivier is a guy who is expert on the flu treatment and the colon treatment. So we can develop many things. And we can see that the company is already awarded by several organizations, and we are very proud of that. And today we need you to increase the development of BioStart. And what we need today is, let's say, 2 million as equity or investor, followed by 3 million to develop the plan and the expansion. Thank you for your attention, and we are very happy to share with you this few slides if you need, and to discuss with you whenever you want.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I have one question. Maybe you mentioned that you had several pilots. So are these paid pilots or not? And maybe you can develop a little bit on them.
Yeah, of course, they are paid pilot. We don't work for free. And we have cost when we have pilot. We don't win money as of today when we develop a pilot, but we don't lose money too. So it's a good pilot in this sense. So today we have pilot. The pilot we did was we have 2 pilots on the way. We cannot mention the name as of today. So it's let's say something we can share with some people, but not on a public place. But we have 1 pilot with a big company already known. And the other one, we can say this is managed by the authority, as I said, in Martinique, Guadeloupe. So we have an intention letter and already agreement if the test in BRGM is good. So, for example, the pilot we want to set in place with this area is more. There is a budget already for that, and there are several million for this. The pilot today, what we did with BRGM as a cost of 30 key euro. We don't pay anything because this is paid by a grant. And this is a part of the audit we set in place.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So I think we're going to end the session now. So thank you very much for all the companies that pitched today. Thank you also for the investors that attended the session. As usual, you will receive a follow-up email with all the contact information, the replay, and the EuroQuity profiles with their deck. If you wish to be put in contact with any of these companies, please feel free to reach out. And thank you again. I wish you all a pleasant day, afternoon, or wherever you are. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.